Marty Schwartz here. As the year comes to a close, I wanted to take a chance to look back on 2024, an incredible year for myself and I guess the start of my career, and look over my top 10 photos of 2024 because oh boy, did we get some bangers. Starting at number 10, we have got the scuba diver. I took this photo early January in Kawakawa Bay. It's a beautiful location. As I was walking around the rocks, I noticed there was little pools in different spots, and I thought it'd be perfect for the scuba diver because it almost looks like he's about to jump into the ocean. And I was able to get super low to the water that I could actually make a incredible reflection. And I'm just really happy with the way I framed this and I guess the idea behind it. The blues and oranges toned together really well, and the composition and the balance of the image just really, it looks really nice, you know? Coming in at number 9, we have got the God Forbidden goat herd. Now, if you don't know, I did a series on my Instagram a couple months ago called Photographing and Unboxing a Lego Minifigure Every Day for 7 Days. And we got this guy, I shit you not, almost 3 or 4 times in a row. But this was the first time that we got him, and essentially I just used baking powder, a few rocks and grass from outside, and I was able to create this environment where it looked like he was walking through the mountains. And it was just me sprinkling baking powder until I landed on this shot here. It creates for a very unique texture. It actually looks like he's going through the mountains. Like, you'd never guess that this isn't snow. It's literally just baking powder they get from your pantry. And for day 1 of this series, I was very proud of myself. Coming in at number 8, we have the Dead Clone Trooper. Now, this shot was very sketchy to get, I'm not gonna lie. So I traveled out to West Auckland at Bethel's Beach. It was an extremely windy day, and my Canon 700D is no means weather sealed. So when I was walking across the sand, it was fine because the sand was getting blown around at your shoes, basically. But once you take your Lego figures and you get low, all these fine grains of sand are just getting puckered into your camera. At this point, I knew I have to take Lego photos here. If my camera breaks, it doesn't matter. As long as I get the shots that I wanted, I'll be happy. And you might notice that half of the face of the skeleton's kind of burnt. I actually did that deliberately a couple years ago, and I brought it back for these photos because I think it just suits the story that I'm trying to go for here. And the wind really helped. It created all these nice sand particles that came through, and it looked like he was in a sandstorm, which really helped the story because he's pretty much buried in the sand. Then coming in at number 7, we have this shot here, which was also shot at Bethel's Beach in this windy terrain. And I was extremely proud of this shot because I started with this, I think it's the Star Destroyer, in the sand, and I was basically kicking sand on top of it to make it look like it was crashed and buried in there. And then of course, I took a Lego figure a couple feet away and put him into the sand, as if he's some lone Jedi survivor discovering this ship. Most of this inspiration came from The Force Awakens, actually, like the scene where you see the speeder going across the sand, and then you have that massive Star Destroyer in the back just buried in sand. Unfortunately, I don't have the UCS version, I just have the small like 2011 version, which actually still works pretty well. And again, the sand particles just looks freaking sick. It really plays into that dusk terrain of just like a sandstorm. Coming at number 6 is this shot here, which was another photo for my minifigure series, but for series 2. And immediately upon unboxing this figure, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Just take him to the beach on a nice sunrise and have him jumping. Just using a little Lego stand, and I was able to Photoshop that out. And just the beautiful gradient behind him, it looks like it's on another planet. When I got these photos, I couldn't be happier. Like, it was one of my favorite shots from the entire series itself. And the feedback for this photo was mental, so definitely one of my favorite shots of 2024. I'm gonna be saying that a lot through these photos, but genuinely all these photos I'm very proud of. Next for number 5 is actually a pretty recent shot. This is from the Ulanzi and Rubber Monkey video where I was testing out their new fog machine, and it made it on this list because it's just a completely new type of photography with me. I've never really experimented with smoke photography at all, and so it was a lot of trial and error, and my first few shots of this were completely shit. But over time, from just like trialing different scenes, different poses, I was eventually able to land on this shot. So the reason why I'm most proud of this, because it took a lot to get to this point here. And also I'm just proud of the way I've been able to use the light in the back of the cave to create this fiery, smoky look from the fog. And also you gotta love, I'm gonna say textures a lot, but you gotta love the textures from the wood and stuff. All of this is just from a big pile of mulch at my work, and it works perfectly for this shoot. And also just the colors just look so sick. They contrast so well together. Coming in at number 4, we are back to Bethel's Beach, this time with R2-D2. Now, I remember watching Star Wars when I was probably, would have been 5 or 6 at my grandmother's place on VHS. And I remember seeing scenes of like R2-D2, I think it was on Tatooine, but he was in like sandy areas. And that always stuck with me throughout my childhood. And once I got this Lego set, I knew exactly where to take him. So for me, this is like a childhood dream shot. Like again, the small particles coming in through his feet and the shadow that he is leaving looks so awesome. And for me, it just creates a beautiful shot that I'm still proud of today. And of course, it's Lego Star Wars. It's always going to be great. Next, coming at number 3, we have this extraordinary shot of Gandalf and Bilbo. But for some reason, people keep asking, is that Dumbledore? Which I understand the resemblance, but I don't recall him riding any eagles, so that's a bit odd. But this shot was submitted for the 72-hour challenge for the Rio New Zealand competition, where Rio New Zealand flew out myself, Seb Gower and Caroline Foster to compete in a 72-hour challenge, where essentially we had to represent Doubtful Sound in one piece of art using our own creative niche. And of course my creative niche was Lego photography, and oh boy, this was a stressful shoot. So this is what I had to do. I had to get on a kayak, actually got pushed out from the boat without my paddle.
Oh, I need my stuff. I need my stuff.
I'll give you the paddle first.
I might need that. I was almost left out here with nothing.
That was quite funny.
Lucky that rope was there.
Then made my way over to the spot.
Coming up. I want the water now.
I was trying my best to get various shots and it just didn't seem to work, and it was getting super stressful because I was holding back the line, getting eaten alive by sandflies, having the whole thing break in my hand in the kayak. Then while trying to get this photo, I'm trying not to drop my camera over the side or lose any of the figures in the water. But eventually, after all that stress and hassle, I was able to land on this shot here, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I got the boat in the photo as well in the background, and that's one of my favorite parts of this image because it really represents Doubtful Sound and the Fjordland Navigator, which is the boat that we were on during this time. Although it didn't win, I actually had 2 of these prints sold for auction to help conservation funds in Doubtful Sound. So this image just becomes a lot more special. One, just because of the experience itself, the people I got to meet, and knowing this image actually did some good. So definitely a top 3 image that I'll genuinely cherish for the rest of my life. Second on my list, staying strong with Lord of the Rings, is this shot here. When I got this shot, I was beyond happy. Like, it seemed like everything aligned itself for this specific photo. It was taken at Riverhead Forest, which is a little bit of a drive. So I had to get up quite early for sunrise. This quite possibly, this could be one of the greatest photos I'll ever take. We'll see. We'll see what the frame is looking like. Holy. The wonderful thing is we've got a lot of time to set this up right. It just so happened that while I was shooting this image, the sun just came out during overcast, basically put itself in the perfect position for where I was taking this photo. And man, I was over the moon when I got this photo.
Holy sh! And the sun in the background as well. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. That's just insane.
Once I got this Lego set, I always had the idea of having the whole fellowship lined up in the forest like this, from all the moss and grass textures to the figures themselves and the sunlight at the top. It just makes for such a stunning image. Before we jump to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Coming in at number 1, we have, of course, the astronaut falling into the water. Now, never would I have believed I would have been able to get a shot like this. If you're unaware, this was for Rubber Monkey and Ulanzi, where I was using a fish tank and just dropping various figures into the water to create awesome scenes. And I couldn't believe it, but literally in 20 to 30 images of just clicking away and dropping the figure, I was able to land on this shot here, and it could not be any more perfect. From the particles falling perfectly towards the astronaut, and his posing. I still can't believe that I was able to get this shot. I really can't. Like, I had this idea in my head, and being able to see it come to life was insane. Like, I remember I took the photos and then I was flicking through and I literally like stood up and that's it. That's the shot that we were looking for, and I just got it, and it's definitely a highlight from this year. I was so proud of this, and it did super well on Instagram, getting liked by some of my heroes like Chris Howe, Peter Lick. It was an unforgettable photo. But yeah, that is my top 10 images of 2024. If you have any favorites, please leave it in the comments below. Let me know which one was your favorite from 2024. But yeah, next year, I promise you this, it's gonna be so much better than this year. We're gonna get even better photos. We're gonna do some more traveling. The sky's the limit, basically. And I just can't wait to get shooting in 2025. So I guess I'll see you then.